Hey there, and welcome back to Cosmic Crypto. In this video, we're going to be talking about Ravencoin, RVN. Let's go. Okay, welcome back to the channel. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go down below, tap that subscribe button, and while you're down there, hit the like button as well. I'd really appreciate it. Alright, Ravencoin. Uh-oh. RIP. Okay, I'm going to start us off on the weekly time frame just to kind of give everybody a refresh of what we've been talking about here. So we are in this long triangle pattern here for Ravencoin, and we have tested up here, but I was getting a little concerned because we are in this rising broadening wedge. We have very large wicks up here on the weekly time frame, which is telling me that the buyers were losing momentum around this point. And what I had hoped to see was us come down and hold the 786 right here, which obviously you can see that this new weekly candle here is not holding the 786, which is not a good sign. I wanted to hold the 786, get a nice jump to the upside. Now the reason why I was thinking about that is not only because holding the 786 is bullish, but I was hoping that we would be getting what we had back here similarly with this W pattern, where we came up and then we came down and we held the 786 line right here, but we had a big move to the upside, and then 2 weeks later is when we had our big run for Ravencoin. I did say that if we fell below the 786 that our hopes of getting to higher price targets is kind of on hold, I guess, and that I do expect us to come down to retest the blue line here, which is the bottom support. And this green horizontal line here is, what was it, 74% of the triangle, which is what a breakout percentage usually is. So when you have a triangle like this, the breakout percentage is 74% into the triangle. It usually breaks, and in this case, to the upside. So this would put a breakout sometime around January 16th of 2023. Now, it doesn't always have to happen at 74%. That's just the average. So I was hoping that we could kind of work our way up in here and finally make it around the 74% area and then get a breakout. But right now, it's kind of looking like, yeah, this is looking more likely, in my opinion. Now, we do have a couple things to, you know, could be saving grace here, but we'll see. So first off, yeah, we are falling below this trend line here. We are also falling below the 786, but a good sign is the braid filter is still in the gray, so it is fairly weak. We don't have a red braid filter telling me that we're going to drop dramatically. As you can see over here, we had the gray. We had a little bit of a drop, and then the dramatic drop came, but we had a red on the braid filter. And over here, when we had a dramatic drop, we also had a red on the braid filter. And so, and then again, I guess there's this one where we had a drop and it was still gray. But then when we had the massive, so actually pay attention next week, if we get another red and a red on the braid filter, then we're most likely coming back down here. So the saving grace that we do have here is the braid filter is looking kind of weak. Also, the RSI has not crossed down below the moving average. So let me open this up. We are awfully close though. So when the white line crosses below the yellow line on the weekly time frame, that usually signals a possible reversal. And in this case, the reversal would be to the downside because we are above the moving average. Now, we could just bounce right off of this and continue on to the upside, which would be you know, bullish scenario. If there is any kind of bullish scenario left, that's what it would be. So we do have that going for us. The other thing we have going for us is trend lines. You know, I think I said this in a tweet a while back. If you're not following me on Twitter, yeah, find me on Twitter, Cosmic Crypto 25 on Twitter, and you'll get these up-to-date information on the charts. And you would have known that I did say that Oh, geez, I just lost my train of thought. I said something on Twitter. Should have paid attention. Oh, trend lines. Yeah, trend lines. I don't like trend lines because you can always move them. So this trend line was going up. Honestly, I consider this a breakdown. But if you want to look at some kind of bullish scenario, you could move this trend line to the bodies. And if you moved them to the bodies, we're actually looking like we're holding support. Now, the reason why I don't like doing this right now is because we did break below the 786. So moving the trend line the way I just did, I put more weight on the Fibonacci's than I do on a trend line. And so that's why I do believe we are breaking down. But if you want to look into maybe a bullish scenario, you could say that if you put the trend line on the bodies of the candles, then we are still holding the trend. And if you wanted to do that, you can pay attention to that. If we break below that, then yeah, definitely we're coming back down to test this blue line here. Let me go down to the daily to see if I can see anything. I mean, so also, not only is this the 786, but it's also, here's previous resistance, support, and resistance, and then resistance right here. So this was acting as support. So, I mean, we also broke a major area of support as well. So not just the 786, but we broke a trend line and we broke a major area of support. And on the daily, we are starting to get the red on the braid filter. The volume's still kind of weak, so there is that, I guess, if you're trying to be bullish still. One other thing I wanted to look at is we previously, when we did have these drawdowns, we did on the RSI come down to around the 38 level on the RSI, and we are just about getting there. But then once we came down to the 38 level, like right here, we had to move to the upside, which was the resistance on that 786 line. Then we came back down, and we came around the 38 level again, and we had a nice move, really nice move to the upside. And if we even go back further, when we came back down to the 38 right here, we had another nice move to the upside. So there's also, if you're looking for something else that's bullish, you can look at that and just say, hey, we're almost at that 38 line on the RSI. So there is a chance. You're telling me there's a chance. Something like that. So, but honestly, this is not a good move. If you're bullish on Ravencoin, this is not what you wanted to see at all. So what I do expect to happen is for us to come back up, possibly retest this trend line again like this, and then have our fall down. Now, we could find support here, dance around, but then come down again, and something like that, hit that trend line, and then continue our way to the upside in order to, you know, break out at the beginning of next year if this triangle pattern actually were to play out. Now, the good thing, so if you're paying attention to the charts regularly, what's this blue thing that keeps flashing when I do that? Anyway, if you're paying attention to the charts regularly, you want to pay attention to this. So if we do come back and retest this trend line, which I expect us to come somewhere in this area to do a retest, if we can break back above and then regain this trend line as support and continue moving to the upside, that would be fine too. That would be the only way I can see out of this predicament that Ravencoin's in. Otherwise, if we cannot do that, I expect us to either go sideways for a long period of time, or have that fall, like I said, and then test this trend line down here, and then move to the upside. So that's pretty much all I got for Ravencoin right now. It's really unfortunate. Bitcoin had a big dump. We do have some, what is it, the CPI data coming out on Wednesday. That might be a catalyst. I'm not sure. Ethereum Classic also had a really big dump as well. It had been holding, kind of flatlining for quite some time, and it finally broke down and had a really large crash yesterday. And I kind of put Ravencoin and Ethereum Classic in the same category area, only because, you know, they're one of the top mining coins out there right now. But it's kind of all I got for Ravencoin. The bullish scenario, if there is one left, is that we still have a chance to bounce off the 38 level on the RSI on the daily. We would like to see this break back above this trend line, which is possible still. And on the weekly, we have not crossed over yet. Now, at the end of this week, if we get a crossover on this yellow here, then, I mean, lights out. I really expect us to come all the way down here. And if you want to get back into Ravencoin, putting some buy orders right around this trend line right here, depending on where we're at on the week, but putting some buy orders down around the, just over 2 cent level would be a decent spot to get some buy orders in my opinion. But and if you're wondering about my long position, because I did go long on Ravencoin after we tapped the 786 over here, and I even made a video on it. If you're wondering about that, I am out of that position. So I expected us to, if we dropped below the 786, that it would be pretty bad. So I put my stop loss very, very close to the 786, and so I am stopped out. Lost a little bit of money, but that's okay. That's why you use a stop loss, so you don't lose everything. And now, I mean, you can look at shorting it if you want. That might be the higher percentage win if you go in that direction. But again, I'm done. That's all I got for Ravencoin right now. If you like what you heard here, please subscribe to the channel. And just remember, I'm not a financial advisor, just a dude on his computer. Talk to you later.